Well, the Dalai Lama was hungry. So he went to a sandwich shop and he bought a sandwich and he paid with a $20 bill. And the cashier took the $20 bill, opened the cash register, and closed it. And the Dalai Lama said, "Well, what about my change?" And the cashier said, "Change comes from within." So that's what we're doing with our teachings from the Prospering Power of Prayer. We are changing ourselves from within. Last week we talked about some simple forms of prayer, and especially our two favorites in Unity, which are affirmations and denials. Today we're talking about an advanced form of prayer, meditation and silence. Silence and meditation are forms of self-discipline. When you practice meditation, you are aligning yourselves with God so that Spirit, which is always available to you, can flow through you. And just as the way to get to Carnegie Hall is practice, 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 the way to learn what form of meditation works for you and what it can do for you is practice, practice, practice. And there are many ways to meditate. So if the ideas that are presented here today do not work for you, you can go into the internet and find a multitude of ways. I recommend starting first at unity.org because you'll find a lot of good ideas there. Charles Fillmore called his practice of meditation going to headquarters. He had witnessed Myrtle's healing process, and he decided to try the techniques for himself. Charles was in almost constant pain for decades due to an abscessed hip joint and an atrophied leg, which was about 4 inches short. He walked with the aid of a leg brace and an elevated shoe. But Charles also had a questioning mind, and he was very persistent. He firmly believed in testing ideas to find out if they actually worked. He practiced sitting in the silence every day for a year, and he began to feel something moving in his thigh muscles, in the atrophied leg. Now, it's not that nothing was happening for a whole year and then all of a sudden something started happening. The thing about meditation is it always has some sort of effect on you, whether or not you can feel it. You may not be able to feel great things at first, but it does have an effect. I started an early morning meditation when I worked at Fleet Bank. I would get to work around 6:30 or so in the morning. I would go into a conference room, and I like to meditate on the flat of my back and allow gravity to pull my spinal cord into alignment. So I would select an affirmation for that day and take it into the silence with me for about 20 minutes. And I wanted to do it every day, but some days I had to skip. And here's what I noticed. On the days that I was not able to meditate, I had these dips in energy. All of a sudden I was just tired. And I noticed on the days that I was able to meditate, my energy was sustained and balanced. So we know with Charles that he was receiving some sort of benefit over that year that he was being very persistent with his meditation. Then over several decades, his hip and his leg healed. The muscles in his leg returned to their what they were supposed to be. He was able to discard the leg brace. His leg lengthened. He was able to get rid of the elevated shoe. And he walked with just a slight limp for the rest of his life. So let's talk about what is Unity's method of meditation. It's a 3-step method. And the first step is to find something that uplifts you spiritually that you're going to read. You know, the Buddhists, when they teach meditation, you just go immediately into the silence, and there you are. But we Western world thinkers need a way to slowly go into the silence. So Charles and Myrtle have a wonderful system. Let's say we're using yesterday's daily word. And I'm reading it, and the affirmation at the top of the page is, Spirit is everywhere and the essence of everything. Spirit is everywhere and the essence of everything. Let's say that together. Spirit is everywhere and the essence of everything. And so then I continue to read my daily word, either out loud or silently, whatever works for you. And then I noticed that there are some statements in it that could be made into affirmations. There are affirmations embedded in it. And I'm looking for the one. Yes. My intention is to remain centered in peace and faith. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to simplify it a little bit and have this affirmation. I am centered in peace and faith. How do you like that one? Let's say that one together. I am centered in peace and faith. Another sentence says, I sense a rush of confidence and courage when I attune to the spirit of life. That one's kind of long. So I'm going to go back to the previous one. I really like that. I am centered in peace and faith. So now I'm done with step 1. Step 2, I'm going to take that statement and I'm just going to say it over and over to myself. I am in peace and faith. I am centered in peace and faith. And I'm going to continue to say it until I feel very relaxed, and then I'm going to just hear it in my head. And then, in the silence, I'm going to let it go. And when I feel complete, I come up out of the silence. So that is Unity's 3-step method of meditation. Find something to read, then find an affirmation, then repeat it over and over again as it feels right to you. And then go into the silence. And when you feel complete, come back out again. The beauty of meditation is that you're not the same person returning from the silence that you were when you first started. Have you ever noticed that? You're like a new person. Meditation always brings some sort of change in you, even if you're not aware of it. Catherine Ponder is right when she calls this an advanced form of prayer. Meditation is not easy at first. It does get easier. You are attempting to slow down and quiet all mental activity. And if you're like most people in the silence, you will probably meet up with monkey mind. MONKEYMIND, monkey mind, monkey mind. We need to spend some time with N. Hey, hey, hey. MONKEYMIND. Now you won't forget that, will you? So monkey mind is that constant drivel. Some people call it the committee in their head, the ongoing commentary. You go into the silence and here's this. Because during most of our waking hours, we're in the beta wave state. That's the quick moving brain activity. We're talking, we're doing, we're thinking. But we actually function better and more creatively in the alpha wave state, the slower brainwave state. And meditation helps us to get there. Meditation helps us to see more clearly. It is not only your situation, it is the way you are looking at it. It is not only your situation, it is the way you are looking at it. And meditation helps you to change that. Because this is an advanced method of prayer, I urge you to be very gentle with yourself as you practice meditation. And simply observe the monkey mind. Just let it flow on through. Don't resist it. Some days you'll feel very successful and uplifted by your time of meditation. Other days you might feel frustrated, disappointed. So just remind yourself that each time you are receiving some sort of benefit, no matter the appearance. And remember that you're looking for what works for you. The length of time in meditation is not the point. Just practice as often as you can in a way that works for you. One authority in the field, Mark Waldman, who works with executives in big corporations, teaches them how to take meditation breaks. And they literally meditate for about 60 seconds at a time and report excellent results. So be gentle with yourself as you take on this technique. Know that even the intention to relax into the silence is a valuable first step. Catherine Ponder says, it is often in silent contemplative prayer that we feel the presence of God's goodness most strongly. If nothing seems to happen in meditation, we still have opened our minds to receive God's good. Brother Lawrence, a Carmelite priest who lived in the 17th century, wrote about his experience of the presence of God. After his death, his writings were published as a book entitled The Practice of the Presence of God, which is still in print. You can find it at Amazon.com. One of the challenges of speaking and demonstrating a topic like meditation is you become so relaxed that all mental activity stops. You may even fall asleep. So let's practice another form of meditation in which you don't fall asleep. This is taught by Thich Nhat Hanh. I'm going to invite you now to join me in the aisles. And we're going to practice walking meditation. And why don't we all go counterclockwise? And in walking meditation, you simply step as slowly as you can and simply observe your feet, your breathing, the sounds that you hear. Just walk very slowly and simply observe. Okay, that feels complete. And it looks like each of you established a rhythm for yourself, a balance. And that can also, of course, be done outdoors so that you can notice the beauty of nature. And if you want to see hundreds and hundreds of people doing it together, go into YouTube and put in Thich Nhat Hanh's name, or put in walking meditation, and they have tapes of him leading people through Central Park. Hundreds and hundreds of people doing that together. And you see how it has that feel of just being right here, right now. And you're in the moment. And so all that other stuff that's going on around us, we just kind of forget about all that. And isn't that wonderful? Jesus often went up into the mountain to pray, going away by himself in order to enter the silence. After preaching and teaching and healing, he often retreated for a time of silent prayer and meditation to refresh and renew himself. The prophet Haggai pointed out the power of prayer and meditation to the Hebrews after they returned from Babylonian exile. They found the holy city in ruins, poverty-stricken, and surrounded by hostile tribes. Haggai pointed out the futility of trying to produce outer results without first making inner contact with God. Change comes from within. He said, "Consider your ways. You have sown much, but it brings in little. You eat, but you're not filled. You drink, but you're still thirsty. You clothe yourselves, but you're not comfortable. And he who earns wages has holes in his pockets." Listen to Jehovah, who says, "Go up to the mountain and bring wood and build the house, and I will take pleasure in it." In metaphysical language, Jehovah is saying, go up in consciousness. Go to a high place in thought, feeling, and prayer. Gather wood, thoughts which energize and sustain, and build a life on those ideas. Moses, Elijah, and Jesus, among others, prove the practical, productive power of silent meditation. After Moses' 40 days in the wilderness, he went forth and supervised the construction of the tabernacle, the Hebrews' first building of formal worship. Moses received specific instructions from Jehovah regarding the beautiful furnishings for the tabernacle. After Elijah spent 40 days in prayer, he helped Elisha become a leading prophet of Israel, and he anointed a new king over Syria and one over Israel to settle the political disputes of that day. And it was after Jesus had prayed silently and meditated for 40 days that he began to preach and teach and heal. When we meditate upon God's goodness, we are renewed, uplifted, and inspired with new ideas. One affirmation we can use to invite inspiration is the divine solution to this situation. I accept and claim the divine solution in this situation now. And you'll find that at the bottom of your yellow sheet of paper. Let's say that together. There is a divine solution to this situation. I accept and claim the divine solution in this situation now. And let's say that together quietly. There is a divine solution to this situation. I accept and claim the divine solution in this situation now. Your mental energy is now focused on receiving ideas and solutions. When you have a challenge, if you go into silent meditation and invite solutions from a divine viewpoint, you will be shown what to do. Let the practice of meditation and silence help you open up to all the possibilities that are available to you. Let communion with God and His goodness open the way for greater peace, health, and plenty in you and in your world. The writer of the third epistle of John might have been describing the prospering power of this advanced method of prayer when he declared, "Beloved, I pray that in all things you may prosper and be in good health, in body, mind, and soul." Bless you all.